Well, I was out on IRS.gov yesterday printing off my forms that's needed to do my taxes. I like doing my taxes, and then I turn all my paperwork over to my daughter, and then she files it for me online. But I do it first. And I was looking at this big, beautiful bill, hoping that Social Security was tax exempt. Well, they didn't do it with that big, beautiful tax act that passed last year in July. They did not exempt Social Security from federal income tax. I was hoping and keep hoping, you know, Social Security benefits have not always been taxed. They started that in 1984. And it was really only supposed to be temporary. But even the 25,000 and the 32,000 that they used at that time is still the same. Can you imagine you using those thresholds and you haven't adjusted them in all these years? It's just pathetic. Yes, I said it, pathetic. But enough of that. This is the time of the year that I like. And so I want to go on record saying I'm not giving any tax advice or any financial advice. I'm going to share with you what I do to try to come up with my tax calculation for the year and withhold it. So what I do is, and it's worked really good for me that I don't end up owing too much because you can figure it out if, well, you got to add up all your income. So, with me, I've got earned income. I've got some 1099 income. I've got pension. I've got Social Security. And so, however you withhold it, each one of those different incomes sources, and when you put it all together, it's different. So what I do is I use AARP. Go out there, Google it, 1040 tax calculation, and I put all my income together. Now they're calculating it based on 2025 tax table, but that's okay. That gets me close enough. Then in July, I look at my tax withholding again to see if I need to adjust. Do I need to submit a tax payment? Because, they want you to withhold 90% of your taxes throughout the year. So go to irs.gov and read up on it. Now, what's new is out of this big, beautiful bill is the Schedule 1A, and they for the working American and seniors. Now, in that, it's an additional $6,000 for seniors, but only up to a certain income level, and it get phased out. There is no tax on overtime up to a certain amount. So I had some overtime in 2025 when I was working for the peaks in Colorado. So I'll be able to deduct that. There's no tax on certain tips. So you got to go out there and read it. They have this, like if you bought a car in 2025, that interest can be deducted. So you got to read it. You got to go out there. It does have some deductions that could be beneficial. But Miss Golden Girl doing my income taxes, so I'm doing them now, and for 2025. And so if I should have to pay, then I got until April to submit it to pay it. You know, some people say, I don't want to work anymore because I don't want to pay the taxes. Well, you know, I feel like whatever I earn, I'm not going to pay 100% of it in taxes. So I still would have some extra coming in. That's the way I look at it. And some people say, I don't want to work any overtime because they tax 50% of it. Okay, so what? You got the other 50%. But this year in 2025, this new big, beautiful tax bill is allowing the working American person to deduct a certain amount of overtime. So check it out. All right. I am not giving any financial advice, any tax advice. I'm just sharing how I come up with my withholding throughout the year for my taxes. And I love going out there. I read Publication 17. You know, they used to mail that to us, but it's out there. Go to irs.gov, G-O-V, and you can find all this information. Good luck with your taxes. What they say, there's two things certain, taxes and death, right? God, next story, bye.